Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another Reader's Magnet featured author interview. My name is Mark, and I will be your host for this session. Joining me today is one of the Reader's Magnet featured authors that is here with us to share his journey as an author and to tell us more about his book titled Experience May Vary, a fictional look into a non-fiction life. We have Brandon Rose himself. Hi, Brandon. How are you today?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. We are really excited to have this conversation with you. Our viewers might be familiar of you already. The book cover already because we have given the book a lot of, let's say, spotlight before before we have this live session because Brandon here is has been joining our live sessions during the Printers Roll Lit Fest live sessions and the Readers Magnet Book Confab live sessions, and we are really excited to have this uh, opportunity to finally have this one-on-one talk with the author himself, Brandon Rose, and finally we're here in front of you guys. Now, Brandon, please introduce yourself to our viewers right now.
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Rose. I am the author of essentially the first of a series, which is Experience May Vary. So this is loosely based on real events that I either myself or people that I've known through the years have gone through. Um, we sat down a while ago. We decided, uh, let's write a book. And so we kind of took all of these different things and wrote it in such a way to where it blurs the lines between what's real and what isn't. So it's
Mhm.
kind of the hook line for readers is there's no right answer.
So that's why it's a fictional look into a non-fiction life. All
Correct.
right. Wow. So here, let us talk about the book cover here. If you can see it on our screen, we have the book cover here. What gave this inspiration, Brandon? Who gave you this idea of choosing this type of book cover?
So when I was working with Dorrance, they reached out and they asked me, do you have any ideas for the cover? And
Uh-huh.
I remember growing up when we would look at book covers, it would always have some kind of visual display of this is what the book is going to contain. And so the idea was kind of the same thing where we can
Hmm.
kind of give you little hints of, this is kind of what the book is about without really telling you exactly what it's
What
about.
it
So it kind of
is.
gives you, yeah, so it kind of gives you a little bit of mystery, but a little bit of,
Hmm.
oh, okay, like this book definitely looks like it's a mobster book. So,
Hmm.
you kind of get that idea from the get-go of, if you're not really a fan of that genre, then you're not going to be a fan of the book. So
Mm.
kind of that like initial warning of like, hey, this is what this contains.
Right, right, right.
So, open at your own risk.
Yeah, I think I heard you, or I saw you saying that during our live sessions that you were saying that these book genre is specifically targeted to this type of people that likes this type of topic. And yeah, I heard that, and I saw that during I think that was on the Printers Roll Lit Fest live sessions, or was it the book confab? But
Um,
yeah, uh
yeah, I was gonna say. So I definitely was commenting a lot during the live
Right, right,
session.
right, right. I was
So
actually rooting for you, Brandon Rose, to win the Kindle, but again, I think it was Sinada who won the Kindle during yesterday's raffle draw. So yeah, let's just congratulate her. Anyway, let's proceed with the book. Okay, so this book of yours, Experience May Vary, Brandon. What inspired you, or who inspired you to write this type of topic or genre?
so again, about I would say it was about 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting around, a group of us were talking kind of about the years in Seattle that I lived in there, and
Right, right, right.
the events that went on, and I was kind of joking. I said, I was like, hey, I should write a book about this one day, right? Like, I can make a lot of money off of it, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of the thoughts of grandeur. And somebody stopped and goes, well, you've always been good with words, so why not? And so I went home and I jotted down a few pages on paper and I read over it and I go, nobody's gonna read this. I throw it in the garbage. Uh, yeah, a couple of days go by, and I was like, I saw the notebook in the garbage, and I'm like, all right, I'll pull it back out, and I looked over it, and I wrote down some more,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and
And finally.
yeah, and so I sent it off to somebody one day, and they read over it, and they go, "This is good. You should
Mm-hmm.
do it," and so I kept writing, and I kind of kept going back to nobody's gonna read this. It went into the
Right,
garbage
right.
several times.
Yeah. So
Um,
you were kind of like doubting yourself first, Brandon,
yeah,
and here you are.
it's yeah, because it's when you're writing when you're writing a fictional story of something that's really happened, like you have to be very careful with what you put in there. And so
Right.
as I finished the book, I did hand it to the people that were involved, that are directly involved actually in it, and I said, is there anything in here that we're going to get in trouble for, right? Like, is there something
Oh, okay.
that shouldn't be in here, like detail wise?
Mm-hmm.
And I got back the response of, no, like, this is great, I love it. I think people are really going to love it because there's more than just a story to
A
it.
story, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different things people can pick up from it. I've
Yeah.
actually been told, I think the average read for people who've actually picked it up so far is two.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one person that got back to me that said that she's on number four and
Uh-huh.
still trying to figure out, like, she basically said, I haven't been able to form a full opinion yet because there's just so much to take in. So
The book is full of stories, maybe, and
yes.
intricate details about what the book is really is. Now, it is funny because I was actually about to ask you, what do you hope your readers will take away after reading this book? But I think you've answered it already. But is there anything else deeper? You know, what will they learn, or what is something that they will see or get from this book, Brandon?
Yeah, so it's the idea really with this is there's no expectation, right?
Right.
When you pick up a Stephen King novel, like, you kind of already know, how the story's going to go, you already know how the ending is.
Right, right,
He's already created this world where the plot line is already set up, right? And
right,
so
right,
the
right.
idea with these is, I'm just going to give you a story. I'm going to tell you the events. I'm going to tell you the details, and I'm going to tell
Mhm.
you the beginning, the middle, and the end. But it's up to you, the reader, to decide what you want to think is real and what you want to think is not. And then you can go on Reddit and share that with other people, and see kind of like what their fan theories are. Uh, this was more written as kind of uh, a way for me to tell my story and my brother's story from many years ago. He's no longer with us, but
Mhm.
a way to kind of keep his story and our life together
Mhm. It's merged.
alive, while at
Right.
the same time, in a sense, being able to, like, kind of look back at 14-year-old self myself and go, okay, this is what we did when we were 14, and these are the things that you don't want to do because this is how
Mhm.
your life unfolded. So it's kind of that idea of, like, um you know you can really take whatever you want from it. There's obviously some very good underlying things with it, but the main idea is, have something that has no expectation, right? There
Right.
is no right or wrong answer. And I just want people to enjoy reading it because it's a good read, not because there's any set expectation.
Expectation, right, right.
Yeah.
This would make your book very interesting, Brandon Rose. Because as what you mentioned, if you and a specific author wrote this type of book, you already kind of like know the of the storyline. And what makes your book different is that it is unpredictable, as what you've mentioned. It doesn't have this specific storyline that it's following. You just have to know when you're reading the book, and that is interesting. We
Yep.
are really looking forward to know more about this book. Now, you've mentioned, Brandon, that you are planning to make a series for
Correct.
this book. Um, Tell us more about the upcoming books.
So this one is kind of more. So the first chapter is more kind of like in present day for, again, an alternate timeline. So the book really will
Mm-hmm.
bounce between, essentially 20 plus years ago
Mm-hmm.
to more of a present time where, the events that occur before, essentially what would be considered like the present. So um, the majority of the book is pre-COVID essentially. Um, the later books, as the past and the present kind of start to I guess get towards, I guess, more like the present.
Mm-hmm.
We'll continue to write, the rest. I'll continue to kind of write the rest of the story from there. Um, so there's essentially there's 8 that are going to come out together. The idea is that
Wow.
will essentially from like book 6 to book 8, ideally will be from kind of more like today forward, as in how things would unfold, as of like today, tomorrow, next week, next month.
Right.
So,
Right. 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 Oh, so I'm kind of like seeing, or maybe it feels like this has this reminds me of this theme, a multiverse type of theme book. Is
yeah,
that what you're trying to say, Brendan? All right, right. Yeah, I actually that is this type of storyline, or like let's say theme of story is, let's say, pretty, let's say, rampant. You know, because we're actually seeing that as well here at the if you're watching Marvel series, that's actually what's happening during I mean, let's say the storyline of the Marvel stories or series.
yeah.
Now, yeah, thank you so much for sharing your inputs, Brendan. We are really looking forward to, be to know more about this book and have. We are really excited to, get this book out there, and we are really excited that this book will be introduced to those people that are really interested in this type of topic. Last question, Brendan. Though, do you have any advice for those aspiring authors who are still starting to, do their first book? What advice can you give them, Brendan Rose?
So there's definitely a few things. The first one is don't throw it away. Um,
Right.
you know,
As what
I
you did, as what we did, but this.
yeah, I probably threw away that notebook at least 4 times before I finally sat down and
Whoa.
actually I went on Google Docs and I started to write it
Mhm.
out there. And even then I tossed it a couple more times because I was, you sit there and you start to read this and you go, there's no way anybody's going to want to read my writing, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
uh, I remember I was talking to somebody on, I think it was on Threads, and they were an author, and I asked them, I said, as somebody who really is doubting myself in this writing, like
Mm.
what inspired you? And they basically said, I didn't do it for me. I did it for other people, and I wanted to, go out and kind of say that I did this. And so I used other people as my motivation.
Right.
Um, Really the biggest thing is whether you think you can or not is kind of irrelevant, because somewhere somebody wants to read the story. And
Right.
that's
Right.
actually
Right.
what I've
Right.
been hearing a lot is, again, when I share, I shared with some ARC readers and some people on Threads and Instagram, and I said, I almost didn't write this. And people kept coming back and they said, I'm really thankful that you did, because I absolutely love the book. I really love the
There you go.
story. I think
Mhm.
it's a great idea. I think you gave the book world a great gift.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, I'm going to hold on to that. And when I run into people that they're like, I don't want to write anymore. It's like,
Mm.
I get it. Trust me, there's somebody in the world that wants to read it. If somebody wants to read mine, they're going to want to read yours. yours. So
Exactly. Right. So if you let's say you just have to believe in yourself. If there's something that you think deserves to be shared out there, if you have a story that you think you deserves to be, shared and be published, you can do it. I mean, you just have to trust yourself and believe in yourself. And look at you right now, Brandon Rose. You are actually promoting, marketing the book, talking, sharing it to a wider audience, I just want to say a quick hi to Sinada. She's actually watching us right now. Hi, Sinada. Congratulations again for the Kindle. All right. So, yeah, going back with your advice, it is important to believe in yourself first, because if you want, then who will? It just have to start with you, right?
yeah.
And you did, and we're glad that you did, Brandon. You are now in front of us promoting the book, and we are really glad that you really did trusted yourself and continued writing this book. Experience may vary. Thank you so much for that, Brandon, and
Thank
you
you.
choosing Readers Magnet as your platform to share, actually. And I just want to inform everyone that if you guys are interested in this book, you can actually go to Amazon and search for the name Experience May Vary by Brandon Rose. You should see the book and be able to buy a copy of the book. All right, Brandon Rose, I have asked all the questions I prepared for you in this session. That would conclude the session for today. Now, for the last time, invite everyone to buy a copy of your book.
Yes, it is on Amazon. You can also find me through Threads, author.brandonrose. Um, if you have, again, if you have any opinions or questions, I'm definitely on Threads. You can feel free to send me a message, a DM, tell me what you think of the book, any ideas. The we're definitely open. So
Oh yeah, so you can hear him, Brandon, the author himself, saying that you can reach him through Threads or Instagram. I believe you also have Instagram, Brandon, right?
yes,
That's author that Brandon Rose. All
yeah.
right. So you can also reach him through Threads. That's author.brandon Rose. Again, thank you so much for participating our author interview today, Brandon. We are really happy that to have this opportunity to talk with you. As we always say here at Readers Magnet, Brandon, we share your story with the world. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you guys.
Goodbye.
Have a wonderful day.